Welcome to the GP Llama YouTube channel, and today we see one of the most requested features of Zwift arrive in-game. They're calling it Holo Replays. I think the rest of us will call them Ghost Riders. They're real-time replays of your previous efforts on in-game segments. Those being timed sprints, small hill climbs, and other point-to-point segments where you'll see those rolling 60-minute window leaderboards in-game. Now there's a lot to know about our new transparent friends in Zwift, so let's get to it. Kicking off with the options for our new ghosty friends. Now you can set personal bests to be displayed on screen to race against or pace against. Now they'll be from a rolling 90-day window. You can select most recent from previous rides or the ride you're currently doing. You can have both, or you can set them to off. One thing to know about these new Ghost Riders is that only you can see them. Nobody else will know they're there. One thing worth noting that you may have already spotted is that the Ghost Riders, either one or two riders on the screen, your personal bests and your previous effort, will show up on the right-hand side rider bar, just like other riders do on Zwift. From there you can keep track of how far ahead or behind you are from both ghosts, and it's also a handy spot to keep an eye on your previous watts per kilo throughout the segment. Maybe you threw in an attack. Maybe you backed off the pedals a little bit. You can use that information to set a better time. Other things to know about these new Ghost Riders is that they'll only appear when you start a timed segment. So for example, if you're entering the Volcano circuit, they won't appear until you cross that segment timing line. The data recording for these ghosty efforts only started at the Zwift end on August 16th or thereabouts 2022. So you'll need to have ridden this segment in its entirety since then or during your current activity for these ghosties to appear. These Holo Replays will only record efforts from free rides, so they will not appear or record efforts from events, meetups, or from workouts. And they'll only show up in free rides too, so you can see here, no ghosties in workout mode. Ghost Riders will be placed on the same bike and wheel combination as when you set your previous times. You can't draft Ghost Riders. Ghost Riders will also follow your exact previous line from your previous time. So if you've got steering and you may have been drinking prior to your ride, they'll get a bit wonky. If you do select the option to show both PB and your previous effort, if your previous effort is a personal best, you'll only get one ghost. If you used a power-up with your PB or previous effort, Ghosty remembers and will also be using that power-up as indicated here. If you do a U-turn on the segments, your ghosty friends will carry on. Maybe you could stand by the roadside and cheer them on as they come through the start-finish. Just don't cross that finish line, as the ghosts will die. If you happen to miss the jump in trying to race yourself from a previous life or previous activity, you can reset them by just throwing a U-turn and riding through that start point again. They'll reappear, at which point you attack. One segment I was very keen to know if these ghosties worked on was Elp to Zwift. These could be used as very, very handy pacing bots. And the answer there is yes, absolutely. They work up Elp to Zwift. Another question I had was, can you use these pace bots on offline mode? Yes, your Holo Replay riders appear to be local. Just make sure you're not using Wi-Fi to pair your sensors either with Direct Connect or the companion app, or you won't be chasing anybody. After riding with these ghosts for a few weeks now on Zwift, I found them absolutely brilliant as a training tool. But there's one catch, one very big catch. Now that's the drafting effect in free ride modes using pace partner rides. Here's me trying to catch myself from a previous ride where I was in a bunch, putting out a ton more watts and making next to no ground whatsoever. So pace partner rides can really screw with your PB data. An option there would be to switch back to previous effort only, not showing the PB ghost, and then setting a time myself solo, and then using that as my pacer or my negative split bot on that circuit. Now I'm going circuit, but it could be a point-to-point or a hill climb as well. Although these Ghost Riders at this point in time are for free rides, I think they would be an absolutely brilliant addition to the Zwift Academy baseline rides. If you want to better yourself just a little bit, then you could be racing yourself up those segments. And it's exactly how I've been using them to pace myself up the Titans Grove KOM. It is very, very cool to set a baseline ride and then say negative split that by 5 seconds and then 5 seconds again, then 5 seconds again, and 5 seconds again. Do multiple repeats until you fail. No more erg mode for workouts. It's a sim mode workout, just like outside. And at the end of it, you really hate your previous self. But all fun and games indoors, and that's what it's all about. Anyhow, there we are, Ghost Riders, or aka Holo Replays on Zwift. They should be enabled on your account now. Take them for a spin and let me know how you go. Thanks for watching. Okay, in the outro here, now we know how these pace bots work, I'm just going to include the minute or so where I was using my previous record, or personal best, to pace myself to set just a little bit faster time. So I just stuck my bike a little bit ahead of my personal record there, and I kept an eye on the watts per kilo to make sure I wasn't accelerating past myself from a previous time set. So just keeping the Ghost on my wheel, keeping him honest, and the watts per kilo isn't going up, but with that information on screen, I was able to just nudge ahead a little bit and set a PB by I think that was under 1 second, but a win's a win. I'll take that.